Hello everybody, this is video 656. It is March 9th, 2020. It happens to be 2:19 in the morning, which is why it's dark. This is the first night of daylight savings time, which I'm a firm opposer. I hate daylight. I hate not necessarily daylight savings time, but I just hate the fact that we change our clocks twice a year. I think as a society, we can accept that parts of the year is going to be lighter than others, parts of the year are going to be darker than others. That's just my own opinion. And I understand, yes, it's nice to have that extra hour of time at night, but I don't know. It messes with me. My body clock. I take a good 2 weeks to get accustomed to it. And I'm like, just pick time and go with it. So But anyway, that's not what this video is about. I got strep throat, so I'm at home drinking lots of fluids, and I slept the first day, and so today's kind of the, hey, I'm awake, but I still have a fever, but I'm not sleepy. So it's given my brain a lot of time to think about things. And one of the things that I felt this morning when I kind of got up and I looked at myself in the mirror was just how unfeminine I felt. And I was curious if any other trans women had kind of felt that way. A couple of years after you go full time, do you lose it? Do we lose it, or am I just lucky me? I get to be the person who feels this way. It didn't help that Facebook today posted a picture of me from 2 years ago, which was 2 years ago today was about a week and a half before my surgery date for GCS. And back then I weighed at least 120 pounds less than I do now. I'm back to my pre-op weight from 3 years ago, 330 pounds. I'm 6 foot tall. I'm a big person. I was big before. I'm still big. I'm obese. My mom's obese. My grandmother was obese. It's in my family. I'm naturally obese. That's the way my body is. I'm big boned. No, I'm fat, but not roly poly fat. Um, what's the right way to say this? I'm apple fat. I'm not pear. Well, I'm pear fat. I'm not apple fat. So I kind of have a curve to me as opposed to a round body fat. But I'm definitely fat, obese. And anyway, so I was presented with this picture of me from 2 years ago and how skinny I was, and my face was so very thinly stretched and gaunt. And um, obviously, 2 years ago was before my job was phased out. So I was happily employed and thought that was the company I was going to retire from. And obviously turned out to be a little different than that. But as I thought about it this morning, ooh, I got a wave of emotion coming. I thought about this morning just how unfeminine I felt. And I looked at my feet like I'm looking at my feet right now, and uh, my toenails are different lengths, not painted. My legs are hairy, my arms are hairy. My fingernails are artificial, painted. But I thought about some things in the last week. There were times I looked at myself in the mirror, and I don't wear earrings anymore. I don't put makeup on. I mean, there's dust on my makeup. I'll put it to you that way. I mean, I don't do half the stuff I used to do. Um, I don't dress feminine anymore. I don't feel it now. Um, I think a contributing factor is the fact that because of being prone to blood clots, they took me off estrogen. I've not had estrogen in my body since October, which was November, December, January, February, March. It's been 5 months since I've had any sort of estrogen in my body, an injection of estrogen. And so, my body has not had any programming, for lack of a better word. But there's no estrogen flowing through me. There's no, you don't have that rise and fall of emotions. You don't have, again, that things to keep you going. And I don't know how body chemistry works. I don't know if it consumes the estrogen. I don't know. I feel like my breasts have kind of flattened out a little bit. I've kind of desexualized somewhat, and that may be all in my head. It may just be mentally. It could all be psychosomatic, or whatnot, but that's kind of the way that I feel. And I told myself that as soon as I was like this morning, okay, when you come off of this sickness, strep throat, you're going to start to exercise. You're going to do what you can do, so that, things work out. I was told by the hematologist for my blood clots that it would be a minimum of a year that I would be off estrogen. It would be a minimum of a year, possibly more, and that my based off of a genetic testing they had done, my genes are prone for blood clots. And so his recommendation was not to do estrogen ever again. And I was like, but you don't understand. I need HRT. My body doesn't make it. So, it's got to balance things out. And it was on the advice of the endocrinologist that I'd seen. The endocrinologist was like, well, yeah, blood clots, estrogen is the culprit. Let's revisit this in 6 months and see how you do. And maybe at the end of 6 months, we can, take your good behavior and your body, changes you've made and say, can't you go back on estrogen? And obviously in the last month or two, I haven't really felt any of those, changes. I haven't exercised more or eaten better. I haven't been taking the blood thinner because I can't afford it. The blood thinner medicine is $600 for a 30-day supply. And GoodRx has a coupon that drops it to $400 and $448. I checked it a minute ago. It's $450 for a 30-day supply, and I just don't have that money. I don't have insurance. It's just one of those things. Food on the table, blood clot medicine. So rather than run into poor meism, this morning I kind of said, well, I can do maybe exercise or whatnot. I got to lick this strep throat. But the sadness kind of came in, and since my job was phased out, I felt like a failure a lot this year. And I have to tell myself I'm not a failure. I'm a good parent. I'm working as best I can. I'm being a good mom to my daughter. I'm trying to be a good parent. So many other things. But, the idea of feeling like maybe I'm failing at being a woman, which doesn't make any sense because we are what we are. I mean, Popeye says, I am what I am. We are what we are. Doesn't matter how we look or how we dress or how we act. I mean, we are at our very basic uh, who we are, whether that be masculine or feminine or whatnot. Sorry, Harry, the cat, just woke up and he's giving his look around. Okay, he's going back to sleep. Lucky dog, lucky cat, being able to sleep. But anyway, I was kind of curious, you know, if I'm not alone, you know, other trans women a couple years after you go full time, do you lose interest in it? I don't know, and I'm almost wondering if it has to do with age and stage. Um, I know, well, I only know two or three, maybe four trans women that have been in it longer than I have. They all seem to be into being feminine, you know. They wear makeup and earrings and dress the part, and I just don't have any interest in it. And I don't know. Am I alone? Am I right? Am I wrong? I don't know. But I thought I'd make a video. Just number one, it's my channel. Number two, it's something that I'm just curious if other trans women have felt that way. And definitely, I feel like it's totally within my grasp. It's within my power. You know, if I want to exercise and lose weight, I can do that. If I want to dust off my makeup, I can do that too. I can wear makeup. If I wanted to comb my hair and do something with it, I could do it. If I wanted to wear earrings, I mean, it's all, I guess, what I want to do. My mom said something. I'm going to visit my mom in a little bit, and she said something to me about, you know, while you're visiting, maybe we could go do something about your hair. And of course, I was like, my hair? She's always trying to get me to cut my hair. And she said, well, you know, maybe we could dye it and frost it. And warning bells went off in my head because, like, a month ago, I asked my mom if I should color my hair, and she said, oh, no, you don't want to color your, this is a month ago. She said, oh, no, you don't want to color your hair because then you're going to have to constantly maintain it and keep up with it. And, you know, every 6 weeks or so, you're going to have to recolor it as soon as your roots show or whatever. And today it was like a whole other person. My mom was like, oh, while you're here, you can go to my stylist and she can color your hair and frost it. And I mean, I admit it'd be kind of nice to get some pampering done. I've never been pampered, and just for the experience, I'm interested in it. I've never had my hair colored or styled. Um, you know what I mean? Just for the experience, just to say that I've done it. And then if it grows out and I, you know, have my gray again, that's fine. I can live with that. But it just seemed like such a weird. It's like, is this my mom? And speaking of family, um, I think I've been cut off from my dad, which is kind of weird. Um, I still have an open hands policy towards my dad, but um, we still had a open communication. I would still call him um, weekly just to say hello and let them know I loved him and check up on him and everything. And even though he dead named me and everything else, and he's not returned my phone calls for a month, and it's really kind of starting to bother me. Or it's, you know, what do you do when you live 5 states away and the phone doesn't work? I sent him a birthday card. Um, what do you do? I mean, I have no way of communicating with him other than the mail now, And I'm going to send him a letter, I think, tomorrow just to say, hey, has your phone number changed? I don't want to be a pest. I don't want to pester him, but, it's kind of got me like, what's going on? But that's not the point of this video. This point of this video was the idea of not feeling feminine. And maybe I've answered my own question in that we have our own, whatever we define feminine to be. But I just don't feel anything right now. I don't feel anything. And part of me wants to blame not having estrogen in my body. And that could be it too. Maybe I just don't feel it. I don't feel like I haven't dilated for 2 weeks. And part of me is I don't want to dilate, as weird as that may seem. I had a hard time climaxing after having surgery, and I've kind of not climaxed, and I've not had an orgasm for a year, and I've kind of decided or come to the conclusion that I'm never going to have sex. So why dilate? Why stick different diameters of plastic up your hole if you're not going to need it? It's kind of annoying. I mean, it's like a pogo stick. I mean, it's like, I don't know. But I just have like totally lost interest, and not in being female. I won't say that. There are moments when I'm at work in the retail business, and someone will come up and ask me a question. Where is this? Do you carry this? Do you have this? Where is this located? Can you help me? And I help the person out, and they say, thank you, ma'am. They treat me with feminine pronouns. Older people tend to say, thank you, hon, or thank you, sweetie, or thank you, thank you. The older generation has a different slang terms they use for women. And even I've been probably sexually harassed by some men in what they call me, but I don't mind that. I take it as I'm a woman struggling with sexual oppression. So I don't feel like I'm being misgendered. I just don't feel it. And maybe I'm just blazing my own trail, and we're somewhere along this gender spectrum and whatever. I mean, again, we're allowed to express ourselves however we want to. There's no bar. There's no set standard. This is masculine, this is feminine. So why can't I just roll out of bed and be myself and go about my life? And if I want to wear lipstick, I wear lipstick. If I don't, I don't. Right now I don't feel like it. Maybe who knows about tomorrow or the day after that. But anyway, just my thoughts. Feel free to comment if you want. How do you feel? What is it like in your life? Again, it's probably one of those things where it's up to the individual. Your mileage may vary, and how you feel, and I almost wonder too if I don't know. I was gonna say age and stage, like first within your first 2 years of transitioning, well, I'll take you out of it. Let's take you and me out of it. Within the first 2 years of transitioning, I imagine a trans woman wants to try different things, wants to try makeup, wants to try everything, wants to try getting their eyebrows waxed, wants to try all of these things they've always wanted to try, and they do. And if they like it, they keep it up, and if they don't care about it, then they let it go. It doesn't make them any less or more of a woman, I suppose. And I can definitely say that in the retail world, with different people that I've seen, different women that I've seen runs the gamut. There's women who spend a lot of time on their presentation and how they look, and there are some women who don't spend any, and yet we're all considered women. So, but I just don't feel feminine. Isn't that weird? Anyway, but that's how I feel. So, my channel. Anyway, feel free to comment if you want. I hope all is good in your neck of the woods, and good luck in your transition, and good luck in figuring out who in the hell you are and who you want to be. All right, till next time. Bye-bye.